is a very big challenge before all of us. But at the same time, we should also try to think how much employable are we in today's world. Those who are doing studies in commerce or business, whatever it is, in an undergraduate level, in a postgraduate level, it is expected that everyone should have, including myself, everyone should have a more or less thorough idea on electronic spreadsheet. So with this, I will straight move out to the topic. I'm sharing the entire screen, and just let me know whether this is visible or not. Is the slide visible?
Yes, sir, visible.
Thank you. So as you can all see that the name of the topic today's talk on which I am delivering today, an overview of electronic spreadsheet, a practical approach. So here what I have basically done is I have taken some problems, and then we will analyze the problem, and then we will also find out that what do we actually need to do when such problems come in our real life. Apparently the problems are very simple, but when we move deep into it, we will find that there are many areas which apparently all of us ignore. And I always believe that we should all learn to read between the lines. Now, why I am saying we? Because I also is always on the learning side of the curve. So, without much further talk, I will just jump to the problem because this problem is apparently very small, requires a clear understanding. This is the first problem which I have synthesized. So basically the problem is new members club limited admits members only after a male or female are adults. It has been found that in some cases some information is missing. Now the last line is very important. Analyze the problem through electronic spreadsheet. Now students, whenever this type of situations come in your life, you must understand that your job will never end only by solving the problems given. You must understand that after you have solved the problem, what exactly are the information that you can extract from this apparently simple two-line problem. With this intention, I have synthesized this problem for all of you. Now, let us move away straight into our Excel sheet because my lectures, unlike theory lectures, they are totally hands-on session. So you can refer to these once the talk is over. So basically, new members club limited. So when I'm trying to write the word, sorry, when I'm trying to write the word new members club limited, you see, this is our column number A, this is row number A1. So A1 is basically, we call it as a cell. But you see, when I have typed new members club limited, the entire matter has gone into B, C, column number B and column number C. So what I can do is, I will go to new members. After this, I press the cursor here and I press Alt Enter. So naturally what happens is all the information it comes to inside the particular cell, and then I adjust the cell width manually according as per requirement. So definitely now whatever I have typed is definitely inside the A1. It has not gone into B, it has not gone into C. And so to make it a little more attractive, what I can do is I can do like this. I can make it center. All these things we can do. So the basic idea is the discussion has gone. We have put it everything inside A1. So this is a very small thing through which we can split the content of a text into the same cell in two different lines. This is what I've showed you just now. After this, what happens is it admits its members only after a male or female are adults. What do we mean by this? Say, for example, I am giving serial number, then I have given name, then I have given age. So let the serial number be 1. Let the serial number be 1. Maybe I am giving some names. I am adjusting the, I am making the things right aligned. You can all see I am adjusting the text. So maybe the name is Mr. Raja Basu. Then maybe I'm giving, I'm doing it with a purpose. You will see in a few minutes. Mrs. Ria Ghosh, Mr. Raj Mukherjee, Miss Ria Sen. Let the first names be same in one case. That is not much of a problem. Mr. Gautam Roy. So maybe these are the 5 members. I can go on and on, but I don't want to waste our time. Now, if you look at the presentation once more, it admits members only after male or female are adults. Now, this, what do I mean by this? You know, when we say that someone is adult, that means it is imperative that the person is more than or equal to 18 years of age. So this calls for conditional formatting. So what we do is, or this calls for maybe, I would say this calls for data validation. Conditional formatting will come in a little bit afterwards. Sorry. So what I do is I go to data validation. How do I go to data validation? I go to C3. What is C3? C is the column number, 3 is the row number. So basically C3 is the cell below age. Then I go to data validation, and there, then I go to data validation, and there I, when I click, I say allow any value, allow, okay, let me do it in this way, allow whole number greater than 18, maybe, or maybe greater than or equal to 18. Why? Because if I'm not doing this, if I'm not doing this, what is going to happen? I'm showing you after, I'm showing you right now. See, I have not done anything here. I have written an age 3. It is accepting. Here I have written an age -12. It is accepting. So this can't be, because age cannot be negative, and our precondition is the person should be adult. So what I need to do is I need to delete all these things. Let me select this one. I go to data validation, and then I click on data validation once more. I go to data validation. I click on data validation, and there I write allow whole number. Why whole number? Because the moment a person is 18 years of age, he is adult. Now he's 18 year 1 month or 18 year 1 day, doesn't make a difference. So we go to allow whole number greater than or equal to maybe 18. Then I go to error alert, and here I write minimum age is 18. Okay. I click on OK. Now here I enter 23, it accepts. Here I enter 12. See, it's not accepting. Minimum age is 18. So basically, in the name of data validation, maybe here I am entering -98. It's not accepting. So basically, what we are supposed to do. So at the first stage, when I go into the problem, you see, apparently it is so harmless. It admits members only after male or female are adults. So nowhere in the problem, this is what I meant by reading between the lines. Nowhere inside the problem, my dear students, it has been ever mentioned that we should apply data validation. But unless and until you have a thorough idea of what you are trying to do in electronic spreadsheet, naturally this is a meaningless exercise. So you have to learn like this. So what you do is you have to read in between the lines. So now I enter maybe 23, maybe 25, maybe 60, maybe 65, maybe, and maybe 35. Okay. Now another thing we can do, another thing we can do is, okay, I'm putting the age here for a purpose. So apparently this problem is solved. New Members Club Limited admits members only after male and female adults. Only this much we have solved up till now. Wherein what we have done is we have imposed data validation, and then we have ensured that any age whatsoever cannot be less than 18. This is the first step which we have done. Now it has been found in some cases some information is missing. So what is that? Maybe, see students, I am showing only with 5 data. It can take at 500, it can take 1000 data also. That's not the problem. The problem is whatever we do for 5 data is basically whatever we are planning to do for 5000 data. That is what I mean to indicate. Now I'm removing these two values with a purpose. Why with a purpose? Because we say in the second problem, it has been found that in some cases, I have highlighted in blue, my dear students, some information is missing. So what I do is, here I use a function count blank, and then when I select this, what do I get? I get 2. What does it prove? It proves that in the age column, there are 2 cells which does not have any particular value. So naturally what happens is, if there are 500 records, the same count blank will show us how many cells doesn't contain a value. If there is any other data, we can do it in this way. Now suppose we are trying to uh, so some information is missing. So we have solved that problem also, because using count blank we can find out which information, which column the information, and how many information is not there. So if it is so once we know that there is 2 data is missing, we can feed in the values. If it is 5 data students, you can easily scroll down. If it is 500 data, so naturally these functions will help you a lot in real time. Now let us try to understand, uh, let us try to explore the assignment, the problem a little bit further. You see the last line, analyze the problem. Now let us see what else can we analyze. So maybe we write down gender. Why gender? You will see right now. See students, one thing, either it is Mr. or Miss or Mrs., whatever it is, Mrs. maybe. So what happens is, after Mr., there are basically 2 words, MR followed by a dot. Similarly, Mrs., MS followed by a dot. So what we can do is, we can write down, there is a function called left function. There is a function called left function. So what we can do is, we select it. Sorry, there is a left function. I'm sorry. What we can do is, we can select it, then comma, we write down maybe 3. Let's see what happens. See, just we can, on the basis of this, we can segregate who are male and who are female, right? So this is what I tried to do. I have tried to maybe I have tried to extract the Mr., Miss, Mrs. like this to find out the gender. So those who are Mr., definitely they are male. Those who are Mrs., definitely they are female. So this is one approach. There are innumerable approaches. I am showing you in this short span of time the simplest approach. So far we have covered 3 things. Number 1, we have covered data validation. Number 2, we have covered count blank, and number 3, we have done the left function. So these are 3, and of course we have, at the very beginning, what we have done is, we have put the data inside the single cell. What we have done, the text is split into 2 lines. So we have put it inside the single cell. So these are the basic things that we can do using our uh, Excel as an introductory level. So see, the what does the entire focus, where do we stand at the end of this problem? It is nowhere mentioned that we should find out the gender. It is nowhere mentioned that we should find out how many values are missing. It is nowhere mentioned that how should we determine who are adults. All we have done, because at the end of the problem, these are very small examples. At the end of the problem, what we are supposed to do is what we are supposed to do is we are supposed to analyze the problem through electronic spreadsheet. The last line is the most important one. So whatever be the problem that we come across, we are basically to analyze. And what is analysis is find out as much information as you can. How do you find out information? Through numerous Excel functions. Now you see, only with problem one we have covered some functions which are, I should say, which are a little lesser known as an introduction to the student community. Now, here comes another problem. Three salesperson sold 1100 units, 1200 units, and 800 units of a particular product. Represent the individual performance of the salesperson in comparison to the total number of units sold. Again, the same thing, analyze the problem through electronic spreadsheet. Now, here what we do is we go, acha, here also we will go to the new Excel sheet maybe. Now here we can, if you are interested, we can maybe rename it as 1. Then we move on to this, we can rename it as 2. Now you can put any name. For our better understanding, I am renaming it as 1, 2 to keep it as simple as we can. Now 3 salespersons sold this much units of a particular product. So what we do is we write, sorry, let me expand the screen for a better understanding. So here maybe we write down serial number, we write down maybe name, we write down uh, units sold. So this we can think. What happens is serial number is 1, name is Rahul, serial number is 2, name is Ram, serial number is 3, name is say Raja. You can give any names of your choice, 1100, 1200, 800. So what we do, 1100, 1200, 800. Students, here also we can apply data validation, but here the condition will be a bit different. So what we can do is we go to data validation, we go to settings, we go to allow whole number, maybe greater than, minimum value is 0. Or we can write down maybe, allow any number, no, allow any number I think will not work, allow whole number is, that is better, greater than, because if I am putting any number the thing is not coming, minimum is 0. Okay, so here when we write down, you see this will at least not accept any 0. If I impose the condition like this, if I impose the condition like this, if I impose the condition like this, it is not accepting. You see, it's not accepting 0. It's not accepting minus 9. It's not accepting, but it is definitely accepting 800. I think this we don't need to explain much. Now here, the problem says represent individual performance of the salesperson in comparison to the total number of units sold. So what we do is, here we find something called total. Here I write equal to, I go to auto sum, and when I write down 3100. So what I've done, I show it once more so that you can understand it in my absence. I have clicked on this particular cell. I go to auto sum. I find out the sum. When I click here, it comes to 3100. Another function we have learned, auto sum. Now, what is expected in us? It is expected that we find out what is the contribution of Rahul in terms of the total number of units sold when compared with his 1100 units which he has sold. Similarly, what is the contribution of Ram? What is the contribution of Raja? Individual contributions. So what I do is, you see here, every time we are comparing with the denominator which is 3100, every time we are comparing with the denominator which is 3100, every time we are comparing with the sum which is obtained by adding the units sold by these three individuals. So the denominator is fixed. So what I do is, I write down equal to, I write down the cell value. Why cell value? Why not 1100? I will come to that. Divided by 3100, that is the cell value L5. L5 contains 3100. Now, here what we can do is, here we are trying to do 1100 divided by 3100. In the next step, we are trying to do 1200 divided by 3100. In the next step, we will do 800 divided by 3100. Instead of doing this, what we will definitely do is, we will keep the denominator, that is 3100, fixed at every point of time. Now, what is the meaning of keeping 3100 fixed? We are keeping the row value as well as the column value fixed. And in electronic spreadsheet, students, this is done by using the dollar sign. So it's $L $5. I press enter. Then when I drag, this is what it is. So still the problem is not over. What is expected? So maybe I write down performance. So what is expected here? Then I will click on this, right click, and then maybe format cells. I will go to percentage. Number of decimal places is 2. I will click on OK. You see, this is what it is. That means 35.48% is contributed by Rahul, 38.71% is contributed by Ram, and maybe 25.81 is contributed by Raja. This is the total contribution in terms of units, the total number of units sold by these three people. So what we do is, to have a deeper analysis, maybe let us try. I select this, I press Control, I select this, I go to Insert, I go to maybe three-dimensional pie, and here I click on Data Labels. Okay. Now see, this is a graphical representation. You know what it is. In the chart title, maybe you can write down, you can customize the, in the chart title, maybe you can customize the title. Maybe I give the name as sales contribution, and this is what it is. So Rahul has done, you can see Ram has done 38.71. Just see the colors, you will understand. Rahul has done 35.48, Raja has done 25.81. The question remains right now is this the only way to represent? No, there are innumerable ways. This is one of those ways. And always remember that the best way of representation is when you can represent the entire data. When you can represent the entire data through pictorial icons. Now, automatically, you know The contribution in terms of sales is 38.71%. Highest is by Ram. So what I do is, now suppose again the same story comes back. Now there are three basically salesmen. We can, if there are 300 salesmen, maybe there are 20 salesmen with 10 different products. So it can always happen, right? So to combat such situations, what we do is, I want to find out the maximum contribution. So I will write down max. I will open the first bracket. I will take the entire staff and then I'll press enter. So max is 38.71. So we know what is the maximum, and maybe I will make it a little bit easier for you to understand. I go to max. Here I do the same thing. What I do, max. Here I select this 38.71. Now, if you remember that I told you, if you remember I told you that when we were calculating, we I gave L2. I did not mention 1100. Few minutes back I told you. When we are calculating, I told that I am mentioning L3. I have not given 1200. Okay. So suppose the company says that if the contribution of a particular salesman falls below 20%, then that figure has to be identified and corresponding name. Naturally, we will get students. Again, I am telling you, we are dealing with three people for a better understanding, for a simpler understanding, but definitely we can do it with as many data as we are convenient with. Now, here what I do is, I am going to conditional formatting. I am going to highlight sale rules. Maybe I am writing less than. Maybe I am writing less than, and maybe I am writing 20%. Sorry. 1 minute. 1 minute. I'm writing 20%. And then I am doing maybe light rate field. Let's see what happens. Nothing happens. Instead of 800, I make it 80 now. See, what was the condition? The condition was, if the sales contribution up to 25%, the company will not say anything. I show it to you once more. If the contribution is 800, it is 25.81. I have imposed conditional formatting. How have I imposed? I went to conditional formatting. I said highlight sale rules. Maybe I have written less than. I have written less than 20%. I'm repeating the entire exercise for your better understanding. So when I'm doing this and when I'm clicking on OK, nothing is shown, 25.81%. Now, instead of 800, maybe the contribution is 700. It is 23.3 maybe. The moment it is 70. Okay. So this is what I've tried to show you. That this helps us for a deeper understanding. This is something we call it a thresh value. Below a certain percentage, automatically and this is applicable for everyone. We can do it in every cell. I've shown it with one particular cell. You can do it in every cell. So you can easily understand. This is another. So two things we have learned here. One is absolute cell referencing we have learned. Another is we have learned that the use of conditional formatting. Okay. With this, we put an end to the second problem. So these are the, and of course we have learned how to use pictorial icons. Here I have used maybe a pie chart. If you wish, you can use other pictorial icons. And maybe if you click here, you select only, let's see what happens. How can we modify? We just can select the contribution of individually. We can do anything, any salesman we are selecting. So naturally we find out what it is. Okay. When we are taking it to individual salesmen, whose contribution is what is also coming out very easily. Okay. So this is another example. This is another example. This is okay. I told you that we can have multiple representation. Now see, this one is even more simpler. It comes with the name. I've just selected another style. It comes with the name. It comes with the corresponding contribution. So this much analysis we can always do. And of course, we can find out the max. We can find out the mean. Similarly, very easy. In minimum also, the same formula for a better understanding. What we write down equal to mean. Sorry. Selecting the cell. This is the maximum contribution. This is the minimum contribution. Who has done the minimum contribution? 25.81 Raja. So we can call Raja and maybe ask for an explanation or something like this. Of course, it depends on the nature of the product. It depends on the geographical locations that we are not discussing here right now, because it is apparently easy, but analysis is analysis. You can where we can go deeper and deeper. Anyways, so the next is the third problem. Now, this is a bit interesting. Prepare a bi-weekly budget. I have done it bi-weekly because of time crunch. Maybe we can go for 3 weeks and 4 weeks, and then we can consolidate. We are preparing a bi-weekly budget in two different Excel sheets having four different overheads. In the third, if we can again increase the number of overheads. In the third Excel sheet, the consolidated report should be available. Analyze the problem through electronic spreadsheet. Again, the same thing comes. Now, here, what we are basically trying to do is, I would like to clarify a very basic thing which I have observed that students often get perplexed with. Students, an Excel file contains innumerable numbers, several, I should not say innumerable, several Excel sheets. Now, here I would request you to open a new Excel file. This I am saving for on the this time maybe I am saving for our demo purpose. Maybe this I am saving here, and I am opening another new Excel file. So this is 1.xlsx. We are saving it. I repeat, this is 1.xlsx. We are saving one Excel file which has two sheets where we have worked. Often I've seen students getting perplexed, getting confused in between Excel file and Excel sheet. Just remember, one Excel file has multiple Excel sheets. Now we move on to another new Excel file maybe, and I make it as 2. And here what we do is, I will definitely increase the font size for a better understanding. So prepare a bi-weekly budget. So what we do is we write down serial number, we write down overhead, and we write down amount. Okay. So here what we do is, see, I have not changed the name sheet 1 here, unlike the previous one, with a purpose. Now students, before I move further, let me do something. I'm writing here 1, 2. Now suppose I want to do up to 10. You all know this, just showing on the lighter side. I click on this plus, I click on this square icon you can see in the right most bottom corner. I click like this, so it comes. But here we are interested only in 4 overheads maybe, so I am deleting all these things. Okay. Here we are writing electricity. Okay, we are writing maybe CESC, maybe 1000. Maybe we are writing T, maybe 500. We are writing photocopy. We are writing photocopy. I'm writing 800, and maybe I'm writing miscellaneous 200. So these are 4 overheads. Maybe we are uh, we are having it in the first sheet. Now I move on to the second sheet. In the second sheet, what I do is, maybe I click on all this Just remember, wherever we are starting the first sheet from, we are starting from where? A1. Second sheet also, we are pasting here A1. Here the tea expenses goes to 400. Here the photocopy expenses goes to 900. And here the miscellaneous goes to 100. So these are the bi-weekly expenditure, bi-weekly, what did I say? Bi-weekly overheads. Remember two things. Number one, the position of each and every element except the numericals. Numerical also position is same, but the position should be identical. This will facilitate our calculations. Here also the same story. The position should be identical. You see in sheet 1, B2 is CSC. In sheet 2, B2 is CSC. So you understand what I said, right? In sheet 1, B5 is miscellaneous. In sheet 2, B5 is miscellaneous. Then I go to the sheet 3. I just make an identical copy. Now the thing will come. Now we try to see what happens. All said and done. I'm removing this. So what do we want to do here? Here we are basically trying to consolidate the expenditures on CESC for the first week. This is for the second week. In the third week, we find out. So identically, first week 1000, second week 1000, third week it should be 2000. So what I do is equal to, I go here, sheet 1 dot C2 plus sheet 2 dot C2. Please try to understand. Here, what we are trying to do is, we are trying to do sheet, please check this very carefully. We are trying to do sheet 1 exclamation C2 plus sheet 2 exclamation C2. Students, if you think that this formula, I should explain it to you in a notepad, because this is a little difficult for the beginners to understand. This is the formula. Sheet 1 exclamation C2 plus sheet 2 exclamation C2. What is sheet 1 exclamation C2? Sheet 1 exclamation C2 is 1000. Sheet 2 exclamation C2 is 1000. So when I write here sheet 1 exclamation C2 plus sheet 2 exclamation C2, see, it comes to 2000 automatically. Then when I drag, see, this is what I meant to say. Here also we can apply conditional formatting. Just have a repetition once more. This is sheet number 3. This is C2 of sheet number 3, which contains the sum of sheet 1 exclamation C2 plus sheet 2 exclamation C2. When I've pressed enter, this is 2000. When I've dragged it, all the figures have come. So this is what it is. Now, if I want to calculate the weekly total, we can go to the auto sum. If I want to calculate the weekly total, we can go to the auto sum. And needless to say, if I want to calculate the weekly total, we need to go to the auto sum. So again, we can also see 2500 plus 2400 is coming to 4900. So this is basically consolidation of expenditures over, this is basically consolidation of expenditures for the first 2 weeks in 2 different Excel sheets in the third week. Students, if we want, we can definitely do it for 4 weeks and then consolidate in the 5th Excel sheet. I'm just doing it to avoid the time crisis. Now, suppose we know we go for conditional formatting. Here we highlight cell rules. This time it's greater than maybe. If it is greater than 100, we impose a condition. We go to custom format. We fill it with red. Okay. Okay. That means when we are consolidating our expenditure, again I repeat, here what I've done is I've gone to conditional formatting. We have highlighted cell rules greater than, if the value is 100. So what we are doing is we are going to custom format. This I have not shown in the earlier problem. We are going to custom format. We are selecting any color, maybe this one, and then I'm clicking on OK. This proves that the moment the any overhead expenditure crosses a certain value, automatically the cell will turn red or any other color, which shows that it is your time to inspect why, in which overhead, not why, in which overhead the expenditure has gone up. Why it has gone up? Because it has gone up because of simple reason. It has gone up, so you can find out why it has gone up. Okay, this is basically, we can do the analysis. So this is basically the consolidated report, and here also we can find out the same things which we did in the earlier uh, case. I'm just showing here, maybe 2000 C2 divided by, maybe, you see we are doing the same thing but the analysis outcome will be different. So when I write like this, if I drag it further, 1 minute. If I drag it further, then if I go to format cells, if I go to percentage, okay. So we know that the out of the total expenditure, 40% expenditure we are spending on electricity, maybe 6% expenditure we are spending on miscellaneous, 34% expenditure we are spending on photocopy, and only 18% we are spending on tea. So this is how we can easily analyze. We can control our expenditures. We can analyze our expenditures. The same thing, absolute cell referencing. Here we have done. So we can show it like this, and again we can maybe I select this. I press Control. I select this. I go to Insert. I go to the charts. I go to maybe more. Okay, sorry. I go to the charts. I go to three-dimensional pie chart. Why it is not taking, I don't know. Anyway, let's see what happens with this one. Uh, 1 minute. 1 minute, sorry. Just 1 minute. I don't know why it's not taking. No, it's not taking right now. One minute. No, it's not taking. I have to check it once more, because generally though this problem should not happen, but I do not know why it's not coming right now, because this should take any pie chart, it should take. So mm, sorry students, this is not taking, but this should come. I do not know why it's not taking. Let me try once more, otherwise we move on to the next problem. It's, yeah, now see. Sorry, now it's solved. You can give the chart title, and of course there are so many variations here. Yes. Thank you. Sorry for the inconvenience caused. because I practiced it repeatedly before offering this presentation. So it is very unlikely that during the presentation this will not come. So you can easily see what it is. So what is the percentage and all those things all are given. Whatever is here. One more thing is, you see here, students, it has used its approximation techniques. Here it is 40.82, it has taken as 41% in case of CESC, and here it is 6.12, it has taken 6%. So approximation it has applied. So that is not the problem. You can easily have an idea of what it is all about. You can easily have an idea about what it is all about. So anyway, all right. So this is another way of representation. You see here what I did. I just clicked on this, unchecked the chart title. So 300, 2000. Now these figures have come. Okay. So these are innumerable ways of representation of the same chart. I again express my sorrow for the unintentional inconvenience caused. But at the end of the day, by grace of God, the problem is solved. So that brings us to the end of the last problem, but this problem is a little different, a little difficult. We need to understand something. And before that, I am going to show you another very interesting thing which will help you in understanding the things better. Suppose I move on to a fresh Excel sheet. Here, I want to go to J250. Where is my cursor? A1. See, my cursor is at A1. I want to go to J250. So one approach is, so I can go on scrolling like this, scrolling like this. Of course, that is not desirable. So if I am to go to N230, so what to do? Is the scrolling the only option? No. I will go here. You see, above B column there is a box. I have written maybe M250. I just write the box number, cell number over here. I press enter. See, it has automatically gone to M250. A very simple thing, a very effective thing. It comes in our daily life. We can go to any cell number of our choice. So similarly, from M250, if I want to go to D3, again I am back. So we can navigate to cells in this way. We can go to any cell of our own choice in this way, and this is how we work. All right. The next is before this PMT and ISPMT, I would like to share. Purposefully, I have not given the problem inside the PowerPoint. Now, suppose your employee has taken 50,000 rupees as a loan from you. Your employee says that I will refund you this loan, maybe 10,500 rupees for 6 times. What does it look? It is 2024, it is 2025, and then when I drag, so you have given the loan in the year 2024, 50,000, you are getting 10,500, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times equal to sum. Now this time, please note, I am not taking the outflow, I am just taking the inflow. So we are not using auto sum. We are just finding out the cell number A2 is to A7 when I am pressing enter. So what happens is, your employee says that, sir, you give me 50,000 loan and I'll be giving you 63,000 rupees at the end of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. The question is this a welcome proposal? Now, there are innumerable approaches to tackle. One very common approach is, I will calculate the internal rate of return. I will go to the IRR function. definitely I will select all outflow and inflow. I am not selecting the 63,000 students. This is just for our calculation. I close the bracket. When I press enter, I am getting 7% interest. Now, is this 7% interest welcome? Because instead of giving the loan to 53 of what 50,000 rupees, if you have kept it in the bank for or in a maybe debt fund for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, what interest you would have got? So let the so you can easily analyze, right? So if it is even zero point 0.1 more than 7%, if it is maybe 7.5% maybe, so naturally you will say that no, had I been keeping in the bank, I would have got 7.5%. Plus, there is much more security in comparison to you as an individual taking a loan. So, I will not issue the loan. Okay. Now, here, so this is called the internal rate of return. Okay. So, we are calculating, we are having our own benchmark in terms of interest. So, here we find that the amount is 7% interest. This is the time period. So naturally, I can say no, or I can say yes, whatever it is, you can do at your own will. But the problem doesn't end here. The problem is this is the internal rate of return. I think I have not included it purposefully because I want to show you two very important things as the last part of my presentation, but they are very critical because often I've seen people, including myself, getting confused with the two functions. One is the PMT and one is the ISPMT. In PMT, what happens is we use the PMT for EMI calculation. We use the PMT for EMI calculation. So here what we do is, in case of PMT, here what we do is, maybe, here what we do is, I am showing it in two different ways for your better understanding. Otherwise, the things will not be clear. I'm showing it for your better understanding. What has happened here is, 1 minute. What has happened here is, 1 minute. What is this all about? What is this all about? 1 minute. Sorry. I'm writing in a notepad for your better understanding. 0.5 by 12. What is this? What is 60? What is 10,000? Now, if we go to insert, if we go to insert, if we go to insert, or maybe if we go to formulas, we go to financial, and then we go to PMT. What is the rate? Rate is the interest for the loan. That means 0.5 by 12 means 0.5 by 12 means 5%. Why by 12? Because it is equated monthly installment. This is the rate. Please recall the function once more. 0.05 by 12. NPER is the number of payments, that is 60, which implies it is a 5-year loan. And PV is basically the present amount of the loan. That means you have taken a loan of maybe 10,000 rupees. You are planning to reimburse it in 60 equal installments, interest rate 5% per annum. So you will find that the figure is coming out to be minus 188.71. Why? That means per month I have to outflow. That is why it is minus. I have to outflow 188 rupees per month. Now, students, you can easily understand if you know that what is the outflow per month, you can easily understand what is the outflow in a quarter. So that doesn't, remember students, I have seen this mistake happening many a times. 1 year has 4 quarters. Okay. So what we can do is we can do uh, this PMT. But the problem is in PMT, when we are paying anything, we are basically paying two things altogether. One is we are paying the principal, one is we are paying the interest. Remember this. In PMT, we are always paying two things altogether. One is we are paying the principal and one is we are paying the interest. In case of ESPMT or ISPMT, what happens is we are trying to calculate only the interest. This is a very common question. It has been asked in innumerable forums that what is the difference in between PMT and ISPMT? I've seen many people, they are getting confused. They are unable to answer because the basic concept is not clear. To make you people understand, if you see the presentation, what I've done is ISPMT is 0.05 by 12, 160, 10,000. So I will definitely move on. You see only one thing, students. Every figure is same. Here it is 0.05 by 12. Here it is also 0.05 by 12. It implies 5% interest. 60, 60. 60 months maybe, which means 5 years. 10,000, 10,000. So you see students, please compare and please be very careful. Uh, please be very careful. Here, the only difference in between these two figures is here one is there, here there is no one. What is one? One is basically the with how much interest you are paying with the only the interest you are paying with the first payment. First payment. Okay. So in this way, you can calculate how many payments you are making. This so automatically the number of the total amount of interest you are paying, so will automatically be taken care of. So here what we are doing is I am copying it. Here what we are doing is I'm copying it. 1 minute. I'm copying it. See again if I go to formula financial ISPMT, what is that? We're going to formula ISPMT. In ISPMT, what happens? Very similar to PMT. Rate per period is one, NPER and PV. I go back to the presentation once more. Except one. Except one. One money is numerical value, nothing else. All figures are same, which means per is the period for which you want to find out the interest. Maybe I want to find out for the first period, first month, second month, this way. Am I clear? So you can easily calculate it, only the interest. And so when you calculate, you get the figure. It's already in the presentation. I am copying it and pasting it once more. So basically the interest is 40.97 something. I will go to format cells. I'll go to format cells and here I'll go to number maybe. I'll make the number of decimal places 2. Why? So many decimals are there. I make it 2. So this is basically the interest part. So here I think that the difference between PMT and ISPMT is clear. And what I have shown here is, if you remember, a few minutes back when I was showing you this one, the IRR one, here we can do something in case of financial, maybe uh, in case of logical. Listen, students. In formulas, there are many options. Auto sum, recently used, financial, logical, date, text, whatever it is. So in case of logical, there is a function called if. Now, what happens is, if if maybe a9, uh, okay, let's try it this way, equal to if a9 greater than b9, comma, yes, comma, no. What have I done, students? I have written a very small logical function. I have written I have written a very small logical function. If A9 greater than B9, what was A9? 7%. What was B9? 7.5%. Remember, I said in case of IRR, what did I say? That if the interest is less than the interest received through bank or any secured option, automatically I will say no. Naturally, because if I keep the money in the bank, I'll get more interest for this period of time, the same amount, 50,000. Otherwise, I will say yes. So what I can tell my staff is, instead of paying me 10,500 a month, why don't you pay me 10,800 a month for the remaining? You see, now it is automatically changed. Please check once more, students. I'm doing it for you. Initially, the value of C9 is no. When it is 10,800, I am dropping it like this. Now it comes to yes. What? Who has done? My formula has done. I have not done anything. And what is the formula? This is the formula. If B9 greater than A9, it's yes. If B9 is, obviously, what do I mean by this? If B9 greater than A9, yes, no money. If it is true, if B9 is greater than A9, it will be yes. Otherwise, it will be no. That is what I wanted to say through my presentation. So this is all about it. We have discussed three very important functions. One is IRR, one is PMT, one is ISPMT. So before I conclude, before I put an end to the discussion, I again thank the organizers. I would like to sum up what we have learned in this 1 hour, 5 minutes, because we started sharp at 8, maybe 1 hour, 5 minutes of presentation. We have learned how to, and I think this consolidation, those who will listen to this presentation, will definitely help them to understand what are the takeaways, what have we learned from this presentation. You have also learned, I have also learned. So what have we learned, what have we discussed? First is, through the first problem, we have tried to incorporate now I am into the consolidation part. Now in the first thing, we have basically tried to incorporate what? We have tried to incorporate the new members club limited in a same cell, in a single cell, by pressing alt enter. Then we have learned data validation, because it will not entertain any age less than 18. And then we have tried to use the count blank function to find out which value, how many values are missing. Then we have tried to find out the gender, maybe maybe using, there are innumerable ways. We have used the left function. uh, so this is the key takeaway from our first problem. These are the functions we have learned. These are the Excel formulas functions we have learned. Here also we have learned, in second problem, we have learned absolute cell referencing. We have learned graphical representation using pie chart. There are other charts available. And of course, we have learned the percentage contribution of each and every salesperson over the total amount of units sold. Again, also here we know that if we using conditional formatting we have learned in the first problem. In conditional formatting, we have basically selected that if the percentage falls below a certain criteria, by default the cell is marked red. You can mark it with other colors. In the third problem, uh, we are basically preparing weekly budget. This you can apply in case of your non-trading organizations, in case of your budgets, small budgets, anything you can apply. So basically we are consolidating weekly budget, trying to find out in which particular area what percentage of expenditure is being incurred. Here also we had used graphical representation. Again, I apologize, I do not know the reason why the icon was not coming. That caused some interruptions in our lectures, but ultimately the problem was sorted out. So this is third. And in the fourth one, of course, I have purposefully not mentioned IRR, because internal rate of return is something which is very simple. But the problem is internal rate of return we need to learn along with simple if condition to understand whether we will go for a financial payout or not. We will pay or we will not pay. We will keep it in safe deposit. Safe deposit, I'm saying, such as maybe in your debt fund, maybe as a fixed deposit like this. We have learned two very important functions. One is the PMT function, which helps us in EMI calculation. We have learned ISPMT function. The fundamental difference between PMT and ISPMT is in PMT we take principal and interest, in ISPMT we take only the interest. My dear students, through this presentation, I think I am able to offer you people uh, I am able to offer you people maybe the basic orientation for electronic spreadsheet, a basic overview. I'll be very happy if I can come across your observations and feedbacks. I end my presentation by conveying thanks to the organizing committee once again for offering me this wonderful opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your lucid explanation on the use of electronic spreadsheet with practical examples. And I do believe that students can easily solve their practical problems on electronic spreadsheet in their examinations after watching this lecture. Thank you so much, sir, once again on behalf of AVSA organizing team for bearing time out of your busy schedule. Thank you so much, sir.
I also thank you, sir, as your academic services, because of your excellent coordination and cooperation with me from the very beginning. Besides,
Thank you so much,
besides
sir.
our society, I would like to definitely thank you through this presentation as well as in person.
Okay, sir. Thank you